lights burn bright. You're blinded now, can't see the fight. Smoke and mirrors, they lead the way. Fooling hearts night after day. Welcome to the show, it's all pretend. The smiles, the lies, the perfect end. The world's a stage, they run the flow. You clap on cue down in the front row. Painted faces, masks of stone. A hollow laugh that chills the bone. Puppets dangle strings unseen. Life's a trick, a cruel machine. Do you see it? Do you feel it? Or just believe it? Welcome to the show, it's all pretend. The smiles, the lies, the perfect end. The world's a stage, they run the flow. You clap on cue down.
Welcome back, guys, to a new episode of Breaking the System. It's kind of a special episode. A couple new things happened in the let me adjust this real quick, in our political system here lately, so we'll jump into that and talk about that just here in a little bit. Adjust this microphone just right here. All right, so today we're going to dive into something brand new and controversial. And honestly, it's pretty confusing for a lot of people. And this just came out, I think, like 2 days ago. This is the Trump accounts. So a lot of you are like, what is a Trump account? What are you talking about? So it's a new type of investment account that's going to be created for kids under the 2025 tax law. Some people are calling it a revolutionary way to help kids build wealth, and others say it's an overhyped savings account that helps rich more than anyone else. So, which parts of that are true? Which parts are not? I'm going to leave that up to you. I'm just going to try to give you as much of the information as possible, just like and analytically think these facts and statistics through and see if it's something that is right for you. All right, so here we go. So what are Trump accounts? Well, first, a Trump account is a new tax advantage investment account that parents or guardians can open up for a child under the age of 18. So starting, I think it is January 1st, you can go to this website. Let me pull it up here. TrumpAccounts.org. That's TrumpAccounts.org. So you go there, and you, as the parent, as the adult, you have to sign your child up for this new account. So think of it like a hybrid between a Roth IRA, which is amazing, a college fund, and a long-term investment account. So let's talk about how it works. So like I said, a parent, a guardian, or even a charity can open one, and anyone can put money into it, whether if it's family, your employer, nonprofit groups. The money must be invested in low-cost ETFs or index funds that is tied to the stock market, which is interesting. We're going to get to that in a little bit. And the child can't pull the money out until the age of 18, when it converts into an adult retirement style account, just like a traditional Roth. Like if you were to set up a Roth account for your children, that stays in your name until they turn 18, and then it converts over to them. And then there's a little bit of a process. I just done one with my son not too long ago where we had to transfer his account over, and it's actually pretty easy to do. So this sounds something similar to that. Here's the part that's got everyone talking. So the government is offering $1,000 of seed money for every eligible newborn from 2025 to 2028. And private donors, including some major billionaires, and we're going to get to those in just a little bit, has just put billions behind the idea to boost contributions for lower income families. This sounds pretty big, right? Well, I mean, it has potential. It has huge potential. So our next question is, why is everyone suddenly talking about these accounts? Well, because two things. Congress baked these accounts into the new tax law, creating the legal framework. And then we have Michael Dell and Susan Dell. Yes, that's Dell, from like the Dell Computer Company. Okay. They just donated $6.25 billion with a B dollars to help jumpstart the program. Okay, so the Dell's donation is aimed at three things. So there's three things that they're trying to kickstart with this. Okay, one is they want to encourage families to open the accounts, which everyone, whether you put $5 into it, $20, $100, whatever it is, right? Everyone should open like a Roth IRA, even if you only use it once. Open an account, put some money into it, set it aside, throw it in the market, and see what it does. Okay? What's it going to hurt? You know? And so this really helps encourage families to do that with a little bit of guidance from the government. I'm not too fond of the government jumping into things like this, just because I'm not a big government person. But if it helps people in the stock market, because I think it's like only like 10% of the population in America that invests in the stock market to begin with. So like, why aren't we having more people doing that? So like I said, it encourages families to open the accounts. It helps lower income kids get meaningful early contributions, which is vital. And it's raising national awareness that these accounts even exist, right? So when we've got a big donor like the Dells that's throwing this money into it, that's big publicity, and hopefully there's a lot of news that picks this up and publishes this in TV, radio, newspaper, internet, all of it, right? And it gets the word out so people start investing in these things, okay? So right now, parents can elect to open the account, but the actual contributions and investing doesn't begin until July of 2026. So this whole thing is still in building the runway phase. Like, they don't have all the ins and outs worked out, but it's coming, which is important. So how does a Trump account benefit a child? So let's talk about the upsides, because I think there's a lot of potential with this. There's a lot of upsides, a lot of real benefits with these accounts. So one, it teaches kids early wealth building. If a child starts with even $1,000 and family adds small contributions each year, that money compounds over 18 years, right? Compounds annually, okay? Compounding on compounding on compounding on top of the interest, okay? And historically, the stock market grows over time. So even if we're looking at modest contributions, this can become extremely meaningful. And I even seen a, see if I can find it here. Bump, 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 bump. Come on, computer. Why is my tabs not working? Here we go. So, seen this. Let me pull it up here so you can see it as well. Get my OBS here going.
It don't rot overnight, you know. It fades. Slow. Silent. Sweet.
There we go. Technical difficulties. Okay, so by age 18, the kids can have upwards of $191,000. And by retirement age 60, remember this is with just modest contributions and with the market just raising like it normally would raise, right? We're not talking about crazy years at all. By the age 60, they could have upwards of $2.2 million. Like, that's huge, right? Massive, okay? Let's jump back over here. Okay. So, flexibility use at age of 18. So this is not like a traditional 529 education account. So at age 18, money can potentially be used for things like college, a first home, starting a business, like being an entrepreneur, or the child at that point, which is an adult, 18 years old, they can keep on saving for retirement, okay? Just like a traditional Roth IRA, okay? So they could pull this money out at age 18 if they needed the money for those things, like college, a first home, or a business, starting a business, entrepreneurship, which is awesome. So just think of like all of you that never had that. Think of like if someone would have started an account for you at when you were born, and then when you're 18, like you get $200,000. Like, how could that have impacted your life? Okay, I really want you to think about that, because that amount of money is life changing. Okay, especially when we're talking about low income families. Okay. So another benefit, unlike a Roth IRA, the child doesn't need earned income. Anyone can contribute, whether if it's grandparents, charities. And I think this one is really cool. Employers can donate money into these accounts as well, and anyone can help grow the account. So this really is supposed to be designed to help low or lower income families. Between the federal government putting in $1,000 of seed money and the new philanthropy of funding, the idea is to give every child, especially these born into poverty, a small foothold in this investing world of the market. Okay? So that's all the good stuff, right? All the good stuff that can happen, which is awesome. Okay? There are some criticisms and there are some controversies, okay? Just like everything else. Okay, so let's talk about some of the big concerns. Okay? Just like anytime that we're talking about money, right? The rich is always going to benefit more. They just are. Okay? They can put more in. They can invest more early. They can keep investing more, where the rest of us can just invest a little bit over time, right? So families with higher income are more likely to put in the maximum contribution each year, and that might potentially widen, not shrink, the wealth gaps over time. Okay. 2, this isn't what we call immediate help. Okay. You can't touch the money for basically 18 years. Okay. So if you are a family that's struggling right now, this type of account is not going to help you with that. It's not going to help you with food or rent or childcare or utilities or medical bills. And we know that all of those things have been going up lately to astronomical amounts. Okay. So these critics, they say that this is a future wealth plan, not a current support plan. Okay. Another controversy or another criticism because of this is its stock market dependency. So opponents are going to argue that it pushes families, especially low-income ones, into relying heavily on market returns. Okay? But I would ask you, would those families of low income even played in the market to begin with? Probably not, right? So, and I think this is funny. You're basically getting $1,000 for free that some rich billionaire has generously donated into this account for you for nothing, and people are still going to complain about it. So that's where I think it's funny, because like I said, people are going to complain about virtually everything. But my criticism is if it's having these low-income families rely heavily on the market, that's what we want you to do. We want you to invest, right? Those people that don't have money to invest, how are they ever going to get a foothold? Okay? So this is that foothold that could take place in 18 years. Not for you, but for your kids. So keep that in mind, okay? Criticism 4 is the implementation is still unclear. So there's lots of small details that's still being finalized. Like how will investment menus work? How are the fees going to be regulated? Will the IRS manage oversight? And we definitely don't want IRS dealing with more of our money than what they already are, right? That's a whole headache in itself. And what about families being able to open these accounts with zero banking access? Okay, so if you are a family that doesn't have access to banking, especially online, into this digital realm that's been here for a while, and it is coming more and more prevalent every day, how are these people going to set this stuff up? Okay. So for now, the program is really promising, but it's just a little bit incomplete. Okay. So what happens next? Well, here's what's next. So families can elect to open accounts right now. Okay. I've went on the website. I've checked a few things out, but I've not really went into trying to set an account up. So I would urge you to maybe go to that account. Go to the Trump account. Trump account or Trump accounts with an S.gov, and try to set an account up for your kid or for your children, and see if those are up and running. Okay. 2, remember that the actual deposits don't begin until July 4th of this coming year, 2026. There are still financial institutions that are lining up to help manage these said funds. Remember, all of these funds that play into the market, somebody has to manage them. What are they investing in? Because just like with a Roth, like I can set my Roth up and I can choose to let that money sit there in like a a SPAX account, which is just a money account, and earn basically like 2% interest, okay, that will stay pretty steady with inflation overall. Or I could invest that money into things like Google and Meta and different companies within the market, and my money would grow as the market grows, okay? So some financial institution has to do that, and I'm pretty sure it's going to have to take more than just one company that's going to do that, okay? And because of that, they're going to have more regulations and more details for us as consumers that is consuming this new consumable product, okay? So over the next year, we might expect things like major banks and brokerages to roll out different types of Trump account portals. They might have public education campaigns where like you go to your nearest bank, and your nearest bank would like maybe help you in setting these things up and help you understanding what is taking place and what's going on. You could have potential political debates over its fairness, right? But once again, I ask you, like, has anybody ever given you a free $1,000 and set up into an account and said, hey, forget about this for 18 years and then come back and see how much money you have? It's all free, okay? You didn't pay anything for it. So why are you complaining? Okay? But that is going to be a huge debate in the political realm. And then hopefully something else that we'll start to see in the next year is these new philanthropic groups through this philanthropy of big businesses or multi-millionaire or billionaire donors like the Dells jumping into this initiative, so to speak. So basically, the country is about to experiment with giving every child a financial head start. It's never been done before. Never, people, never. So, really there's 4 questions, or actually 3 questions, that we have to keep in the back of our mind at all times while this is going on. Is it enough? Is it fair? And is it sustainable? So, and remember, right now, we're only talking like they're able to do this for like 3 years. Okay? And I think I read somewhere else where if your kid is under the age of 18, I know I read it somewhere, that you could go ahead, you could set it up for your kid that's already born. One place I read where it was 18, and one I think it was 10 and under. Yes, so some children 10 years and under could receive accounts of $250 in seed money in their account that their parents open up. So if your kid is 10 years or under right now, you could potentially do the same thing within the next month or so, be able to set this account up, and instead of $1,000 of seed money, your kid would get $250 of seed money into this account. Once again, I ask you, has anybody ever given you $250 for free to set up an account to invest in the stock market and to see how that money grows? If it does nothing, it does nothing. You're not out anything, so who really gives a crap, right? But if it builds wealth, well then congratulations, right? You've got $100,000, or you've got $200,000. Or if you leave it in there for 60 years, well now you've got almost $2.3 million that you can retire with. So I personally think like this is amazing. Now, I can see the elites, the rich, taking advantage of this to the extreme. Like, and I personally think everybody should. Like I said, if your kid is 10 years of age or under, you should be doing this ASAP. Getting this set up, and see in July or June, whenever it was. I think it was July. That this money is invested or put into this account as seed money, okay, for you for free. So that's kind of the breakdown on the Trump accounts. There are some taxes that kind of go along with this. I have read a little bit where you would be taxed, of course, if you take it out early, anything earlier than retirement age, you're going to be taxed on that, just like you would with any other account. Even if I have like a Roth IRA, if I'm not if I haven't let that account mature and I try to take that money out early, I'm going to be taxed or penalized heavily in taxes on that. Okay. I've also read where the money that you put into it is going to be taxed, so it's kind of like double, maybe triple taxing things. But once again, like, even if you're paying tax on $1,000, which is pennies, right? It's not going to be that much. If it does anything at all, your kid has hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars later on in life that they can retire with, that they can set up and pay for their first house or their first car or their education or whatever. Like, I honestly think that this is really amazing. If, and this is a big if, because the government's involved, and let's be honest, like I've said, I don't really trust the government to be involved in our lives. But if this is set up the right way, this could have huge ripple waves for our economy, and not only more people becoming successful, having an almost equal starting point as an adult, in not owing anyone anything, and being debt free, right? Like, think about it. When you were 18 years old, to be debt free and to have thousands of dollars in an account that is working for you in the background, and you really didn't have to do anything for it. Okay? So as always, I would like to hear from you guys in the comments, right? So leave us some comments. Do you think that every child should have an investment account at birth? That's an interesting question. As U.S. citizens, should we have something like this set up? Is this kind of too much government overreach? So that's question 1. Question 2, will this help families build generational wealth or mainly benefit the rich? I think it's going to be who uses it. I mean, if you don't use it, well then it's not going to help you one bit at all, right? So that's question number 2. Question number 3, should the government focus on long-term investment or on immediate support? And I would add to that, do you think that the government should be helping us invest, period? Or should that be left up to us? Okay? Take in mind everything else that the government has stuck their noses in, that they've put their fingers in, how badly it's been screwed up. Okay? Think about it. Really, really think about it. Okay? Put your answers in the comments. Let me know what you think. Okay? Like I said, I read this and I seen this and I wanted to get this out, so this is kind of a special episode of Breaking the System. This really does have potential to break the system as it currently stands if we utilize it. Okay? So leave those comments in the comment section. Also, if there's something you guys want to hear about, you want me to talk about, leave those comments there as well, and we'll talk about those things too. Okay. Other than that, appreciate it. Thanks for watching. This is Breaking the System, and we'll see you guys later. Peace.